Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester. Transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock. From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning. A very good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Tuesday, June 17, 2025. Policeman killed in St. James, a supermarket robbery. Murders are down 44% since the start of the year. Attorneys disagree over the GG's intervention to the Parliamentary Committee reviewing the Integrity Commission Act. In regional news, Dominica launches crackdown on gun smuggling network after firearm seizures. In international news, G7 leaders try to salvage their summit after Trump's early exit. In sports, Jamaica loses 1-0 to Guatemala in CONCACAF Gold Cup campaign start on Monday night. And in business, Trump signs order confirming parts of UK-US tariff deal. The details after the break.
Upgrade your home or business with Cameron Industries and Joinery Limited. Explore a range of termite-resistant plywood, quartz, solid surface, and granite. Experience timeless elegance with our cedar doors, crafted from premium cedar stock, kiln-dried for durability and beauty. For quality and craftsmanship, visit us at the Trade Center Kingston 10 or Hatfield Mandeville. Call 876-963-062 8-30. Cameron Industries and Joinery Limited. Transform your space today.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Nationwide News understands that a police constable was shot and killed during a robbery at a supermarket in St. James on Monday afternoon. Dead is 37-year-old Gary Hamilton. Preliminary reports are that Constable Hamilton was working as a security guard at Andy's Supermarket on Barnett Street in Montego Bay when the establishment was invaded by gunmen at about 5:52 p.m. The men proceeded to rob the business place of about $3 million in cash. It's understood that while making their escape, they were challenged by Constable Hamilton. The policeman was shot and killed. Nationwide News understands that at the time of his death, Constable Hamilton had been on suspension from the JCF since June 11, 2018. 303 murders were recorded between January 1 and June 14. That's according to the latest data from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. That's 240 fewer than the 543 murders recorded in the corresponding period last year. Still, 14 homicides were recorded over the last 7 days. St. Andrews South continues to be a hotspot, leading the country's murder tally with 42. St. Catherine South is second with 28. Trelawney and St. Elizabeth have the least number of homicides, with each division recording 6. Meanwhile, cases of rape and shootings have both declined by approximately 33%, but robberies and break-ins have increased by approximately 3% and 21%, respectively. The JCF's anti-lottery scam unit has seized roughly $15 million in cash in a series of raids across Hanover. More than 30 raids were carried out in Top Hill, Newtown, Sandy Bay, and other areas between June 12 and 14. 4 individuals have been arrested, 3 of whom have been charged with breaches of the Law Reform Act. They are 21-year-old Maurice Campbell, 21-year-old Tajari Jones, and 22-year-old Shamar Forbes. All 3 are from Hanover addresses. The JCF says the cash seized is of various currencies. Investigators also seized 3 imitation firearms and 11 high-end motor vehicles. The raids were carried out under the Scam Done, Justice or Run initiative, which was launched on June 5 in sections of St. James. It has since yielded over $28 million in cash, multiple high-value and vehicles, and the arrest and charge of several individuals. Attorney at Law Kenyatta Powell has described as offensive recommendations from the Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen, to the Joint Select Committee reviewing the Integrity Commission Act. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday.
I don't just find the intervention unusual, and it is. I find it to be offensive in the extreme, because we are talking about the local representative of a foreign non-Jamaican monarch. And I think that it is right and proper that such a person must remain tightly within his or her constitutional limits. Yeah. Those limits are that where specific legislation does not confer a discretion on the Governor General to act in his or her own stead, the Governor General exercising executive authority can only do so upon the advice or recommendation, etc., of either the Prime Minister, the Minister's Cabinet, some commission, etc. And the Constitution is pretty clear about this.
According to a report in the Gleaner newspaper, Sir Patrick expressed concern about some of the Commission's processes. This includes the process of appointing temporary staff. He also reportedly took issue with the ambiguity in leadership authority at the Commission. According to the article, Sir Patrick is suggesting that lawmakers create regulations under the Integrity Commission Act to clarify the processes of appointment, but Powell says the Governor General is meddling.
I don't think that the Governor General being vested with certain authority in terms of receiving complaints and taking disciplinary action in relation to officers of the Integrity Commission means that somehow gives the Governor General, whose functions are tightly prescribed in the Constitution. That doesn't mean the Governor General is somehow then at liberty to be inserting himself, because this is what he has done, inserted himself by his office in the part of the legislative process that the Constitution gives him absolutely no authority at all. The Governor General's sole authority in relation to legislation has to do with what comes at the end.
Kenyatta Powell, attorney at law. Meanwhile, attorney at law Shane Dowling says there is merit to the intervention by the Governor General. He points to Sir Patrick's concern about the ambiguity in leadership authority at the Commission.
The structure of the Integrity Commission, as stated by the Governor General in the letter to Parliament, creates silos. You have an executive director that operates in silo from the other directors. So there are 4 other directors. Those 4 directors do not report to the executive director, but they report directly to the Commission, similar to the executive director. So it's a system like a CEO. You have a head of entity reporting to a board, but then you have the directors for that same entity reporting directly to the board. It creates a silo, so the executive director cannot really control the processes below him, because the directors who are supposed to be reporting to him are reporting to the same boss that he is reporting to. So it creates a little conundrum there in terms of good administration and good governance.
Dowling also believes that the concern expressed by Sir Patrick about the need for clarity in the process of appointing temporary staff at the IC is indeed valid.
It is in the legislation that the Governor General has the power to make appointment as well as acting appointment, save and except under Section 30 subsection 8 of the Integrity Commission Act, where the acting appointment is being made only for 3 months. Anything outside of 3 months, it is the Governor General's role to appoint somebody acting. Now, the Governor General is saying there is something awkward in this because Section 30 subsection 8 runs counter to Section 35, 36 of the Interpretation Act that states that he who has the power to appoint has the power to make acting appointment also. So Section 30 subsection 8 of the Integrity Commission Act gives a specific acting appointment, but only for 3 months. It is on
Shane Dowling, attorney at law, he was speaking on Nationwide at 5. In the meantime, Kenyatta Powell disagrees with Shane Dowling about the need for clarity on the point of appointing temporary staff at the Integrity Commission.
Whenever I hear counsel say that something is untidy, I don't know what that means in terms of questions about legality. It is clear that what Section 30 subsection 8 is to give the Commission a specific power to make an acting appointment for a limited period of time, i.e. 3 months, 90 days. I am not sure why it is that should be a problem, except that counsel says it's untidy, and he says it's untidy because if it goes over a day over the 90 days, then the Governor General has to step in. But even that formulation is not quite true because, again, in terms of the appointment of the directors, the Governor General does not have an independent authority to act. He must act on the recommendation of the Commission.
Kenyatta Powell, attorney at law, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday. Candidates for the post of president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, are vowing to advocate for better wages and amendments to the Jamaica Teaching Council bill. The contenders are LaSonia Harrison, a principal of St. Faith's Primary in St. Catherine, Jermaine Williams, a senior teacher at Manning School in Westmoreland, and Dr. Maureen Mullings Nelson, practicum placement officer at Mike University College. Speaking with our news center on Friday, Dr. Mullings Nelson says she will resist the JTC bill.
When we look at the challenges with special education, there's no special education policy. Yet the data states that we have over 97% of special education students in our regular classes. And there's also a need for at least 3,000 special education teachers. The burden thereof usually falls squarely at our general education teacher. And then we want to speak about payment by performance. A vote for Maureen Mullings Nelson would mean an advocate who is ready to rubbish such an idea. A vote for Maureen Mullings Nelson is also a vote to resist the JTC bill.
Dr. Mullings Nelson is the sister of dancehall star Vybz Kartel. She says the education system is in need of a stronger focus on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
So many of our students have behavioral challenges. What about revisiting SWPBIS? What about revisiting Conversation for Greatness? What about giving greater support to our Deans of Discipline program, which will help to build and boost our students? What about performing arts? What about that missing A? Instead of us pushing for STEM, what about STEAM? What about funding for STEAM? This country, Jamaica, is a cultural haven, and we are missing that. A vote for Maureen Mullings Nelson is a total transformation in the system.
Dr. Maureen Mullings Nelson, JTA President-elect candidate. Meanwhile, LaSonia Harrison says if she becomes president, it is her intention to advocate for better working conditions for both students and teachers.
A vote for LaSonia Harrison would be to advocate for not only a livable wage for the teacher, but for the conditions under which the children learn and the teachers serve. It needs improving. To advocate nationally for a national campaign for education, the return of the importance of education to this nation, and ultimately for the human capital, the greatest resource of this nation, to be treated with the dignity that they are in need of.
LaSonia Harrison and Jermaine Williams says if successful, he will advocate for better pay for those teachers who are being underpaid based on their qualifications.
I'm ready to lead. There are many things that the classroom teacher is facing, and I want to focus on that. Many of our teachers have a master's degree, and they're not being compensated for it. Colleagues, many of you are outstanding educators, and we need to have more master teachers in the system to celebrate more outstanding teachers. Because if we want to market the teaching profession, we need to develop a program that markets the teaching profession and one that also promotes public recognition.
And Jermaine Williams, a JTA president-elect candidate. The three educators vying to take over from principal of St. Thomas High School, Mark Malava, in August, took part in a presidential debate last Friday. The process of selecting a new president-elect is currently underway across the island. Just under 20,000 JTA members are expected to participate in the process. PNP caretaker for East Central St. Andrew, Dennis Gordon, says he'll prioritize the training of young people if he wins the right to represent the constituency after the next general elections.
There are 515 businesses in East Central St. Andrew, and I'm reaching out to them to form a partnership where they employ one unattached youth for 6 months. And once they are finished, they will matriculate to Art NTA so they can have a certification. I am going to ensure that all youths in East Central St. Andrew who are ready to be certified, I am that guy who's going to lead that charge.
Gordon, who currently serves as councillor for the Maxfield Park Division, was speaking during a PNP meeting at Norman Manley High School on Sunday night. He's looking to replace Dr. Peter Phillips, who has held the seat for the PNP since 1993. He told comrades that housing and land titling will also get priority attention.
One of my tasks is to lift people out of intergenerational poverty. We have seen so much of that. And it is the reason why I am dedicating myself as their person to transform their lives out of that cycle of poverty. We're going to do that through the most robust titling, housing, and land reform you have ever experienced in this constituency. I'm going to advocate for reverse mortgages for the senior citizen so they can live out their life. If we can provide a source of income to allow them to better able to maintain those property, the value and the equity is insurmountable.
Dennis Gordon, PNP caretaker for East Central St. Andrew. Meanwhile, JLP caretaker for the constituency, David Vassell, says the constituency needs transformational leadership.
The roads are in a very deplorable state. It would appear that over the years they have been neglected. There's no proper social infrastructure. If you look around, there's not one active community center where people can go and learn skills and all of these things, vocational training. Besides, the German auto school, I don't really see anything else. If you're not interested in auto, what else? Yeah, you can't learn carpentry, you can't learn plumbing, you can't learn anything because there's nothing in place for young people, to empower young people, to empower growth within the space.
Speaking at Tarrant High on Sunday night, he says constituents in Cassia Park and Hagley Park can expect active and participatory leadership.
Cassia Park is considered by the PNP as a labor right division. What is the significance of that? As a result of that, they don't do any work in Cassia Park because they see doing work in Cassia Park as strengthening Beverly Prince in order to get your roads fixed, in order to get your infrastructure up and running. You have to vote for the Jamaica Labour Party. To the voters in Hagley Park, the PNP sees you as a necessary inconvenience. What do I mean by that? The only time they do work is around election time. So after you vote for them, you don't see them. You need representation that is there for you when you need it.
David Vassell, JLP caretaker for East Central St. Andrew. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
Be in the know. Learn how local government is working for you. Follow us on Instagram and X at LocalGovJA and on Facebook at Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. The time by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development is
6:18.
You've led teams, built businesses, and influenced change. Now, lead research that transforms your field. Apply now for the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean's Doctor of Business Administration or Doctor of Professional Practice. Flexible, research-based, and designed for working professionals. All UCC programs are accredited by the University Council of Jamaica. Learn more and apply online at ucc.edu.jm. UCC, fostering leadership and innovation.
The name you trust to be your friend, to be a partner by your side. For generations we have been the one you trust as your financial guide. Sagicor, building trust for generations, helping hopes and dreams to grow, building our nation. Sagicor's the name you know. Sagicor.
Sagicor, celebrating 55 years.
Building trust for generations.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, the authorities in Dominica have pledged to dismantle a gun smuggling network across the eastern Caribbean island. This after police announced they have seized nearly 50 firearms, including assault rifles, at the island's ports since the start of 2025. Acting Police Commissioner Lincoln Corbett said at a press briefing that the Firearms Investigative Unit is probing the importation of a significant cache of guns and ammunition into the country. He says between January 23 and June 14, a total of 42 firearms and 220 rounds of ammunition were intercepted at the ports of entry into Dominica. The haul included 2 AR-15 assault rifles. An additional 7 firearms and 69 rounds of ammunition were taken from suspected criminals on the streets, bringing the year-to-date total to 49 guns and 289 rounds. International, U.S. President Donald Trump says he expects better than a ceasefire between Israel and Iran after warning people earlier to evacuate Tehran. He made the comment after his early departure from the G7 summit in Canada, but it's still unclear what he meant. Iran and Israel are exchanging fire for a 5th straight day, with Iranian media reporting explosions and heavy air defense fire in Tehran overnight. Iran launched 2 waves of missiles in response to the Israeli attacks, setting off air raid alerts in parts of central and northern Israel in the early hours. The attacks were less intense than previous nights, and there were no reports of direct impacts or casualties. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
Are you burning up with this summer heat? The place hot, man. Get cool now with a Hisense air conditioner. Wow, I feel good. With advanced energy-saving inverter technology and whisper quiet operation. Beat this heat with Hisense. Available at Aliaber Brands Limited, 64 Hagley Park Road, or call 876-676-5951 now.
So good. So good. I got to you.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Time now for your morning sports. The Reggae Boys are lifeless as they limped to a 1-0 loss to Guatemala in their opening match at the CONCACAF Gold Cup in Carson, California on Monday night. Oscar Santos bagged the lone goal on 32 minutes to give the Central Americans their first victory over Jamaica in 13 years and their first ever at the Gold Cup in 6 tries. The Guatemalans made 9 changes to the team that lost 3-0 to Jamaica in a World Cup qualifier in Kingston 8 days ago. With the win, Guatemala moved into second place in Group C on goal difference behind Panama, who beat Guadeloupe 5-2 in the earlier game. Jamaica will next be in action on Friday against Guadeloupe at PayPal Park in San Diego, California at 6 p.m. Jamaica time. The top 2 in each group advance to the quarterfinals. Basketball news, Jalen Williams had 40 points and MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander added 31 as Oklahoma City Thunder beat Indiana Pacers 120-109 to now stand on the verge of their first NBA title. The victory at the Paycom Center put OKC in charge of the best-of-7 finals 3-2 with the series heading back to Indianapolis for Game 6 on Thursday. Several of Jamaica's star athletes are not listed to compete at the J3A's Puma National Junior and Senior Championships at the National Stadium from June 26 to 29. These include Omar McLeod, Elaine Thompson-Hera, Roger Stoner, and Jaden Hibbert. World and Olympic 110 meters hurdles champion McLeod is surprisingly absent after some encouraging appearances so far this season. His latest was his winning performances in the 100 meters and 110 meters hurdles in Italy on Saturday. Meanwhile, double Olympic champion Thompson-Hera and Hibbert's absence is understandable, as both are yet to make their season debut. Stoners has made 2 appearances, but seems to have opted not to take part in the championships. However, there will still be a galaxy of stars to put on a great show for track and field fans. Among them are multiple world and Olympic champion Shalane Fraser-Price, defending World 200 meters champion Shericka Jackson, Tia and Tina Clayton, Olympic silver medalist Kishane Thompson, Oblique Seville, Akeem Blake, and Brian Lavelle. Nationwide 90 FM will, of course, have live coverage of the championships. Finally, in your morning sports, Jamaican rallycross driver Fraser McConnell overcame a string of qualifying setbacks to claim a third-place finish at Round 7 of the Rally X Series at the Kimi Ring circuit in Finland on the weekend. The event marked the first time the Kimi Ring was used for rallycross, giving all 19 drivers a clean slate. McConnell began the weekend on a high, posting the third fastest time in free practice. In the semi-final, Fraser started from the back row and avoided the early congestion in Turn 1. He took an early joker lap, gaining clean track space and chasing down the front pack. A tight battle followed between McConnell and a more powerful supercar, with McConnell finishing just 0.007 seconds behind second place. The narrow margin meant McConnell would start from the back row in the finals. Still, he maintained his composure, avoiding early contact and capitalizing on incidents ahead to move into P2 after Turn 2. The only FC2 spec car in a 4WD Pro final, otherwise dominated by supercars, Fraser held on for third place finish.
You just have to drive smart and stay out of trouble, but there's always the balance you have to play with risk and reward. So if you're being too careful, you're going to be slow. If you're going all out, flat out the entire time, you have a higher chance of getting car damage. So it's about playing that balance as we always do as race drivers. But the car is good and we're feeling happy.
Fraser McConnell's next race will be in Sweden on June 28 until June 29. And that's it for your morning sports.
You have to win,
win. Just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
In business this morning, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed off on a deal removing some trade barriers between his country and the UK. The move will bring into force parts of an agreement agreed between the two countries last month and reduce tariffs on UK cars being shipped to the U.S. It comes after weeks of talks to implement parts of the pact, which the UK government hopes will shield British businesses from the impact of Trump's tariffs. But the deal includes a 10% levy on most UK goods, including cars, and does not address the expected removal of charges on steel imports. Speaking at the G7 summit in Canada, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer called the move a very important day for both countries. The pact, initially agreed last month, is the first the White House has announced since it imposed wide-ranging tariffs on various goods entering America earlier this year. The UK is expected to unveil new sanctions against Russia designed to restrict Putin's war machine alongside other Ukraine allies on Tuesday. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said the measures would increase economic pressure on the Kremlin to show Vladimir Putin it is in his and Russia's interests to demonstrate he's serious about peace. However, it appeared unlikely that the US would join the move after Donald Trump signaled his opposition to further measures during the G summit in Canada, saying the sanctions cost the U.S. a lot of money. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials said 14 people were killed after another wave of drone and missiles struck Kyiv overnight. Downing Street said the new sanctions package would aim to keep up pressure on Russian military-industrial complex, but did not provide further details. In a statement, Sir Keir said he and other G7 partners were finalizing the new measures at the Alberta summit and that they would squeeze Russia's energy revenues and reduce the funds they're able to pour into their illegal war. Finally now, in foreign exchange trading, the Jamaican dollar has lost 5 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $159.91 against the benchmark US dollar. The Jamaican dollar has lost 41 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $118.40 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican has lost 32 cents and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $216.92 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:32.
Yo, genius! We just get the Burger King Double King combo. One original chicken sandwich plus a Whopper Junior with cheese. Well, 2 sandwiches enough. Plus a small fries and soda for only $1,300.
You use the new rubber money. You did say the money can stretch a Burger King.
Me mean you get more food for your money. One combo, 2 sandwiches.
So you want I got eat whole 2 sandwich, brother? My belly can stretch, you know.
Get the BK Double King combo. Limited time only at Burger King.
Spring into style with Unique Living. Upgrade your home with our extensive range of products. Get sleek shower panels, stylish vanities, LED and non-LED mirrors, plus kitchen sinks, closet solutions, ceiling fans, and more. Available in various finishes and sizes. Visit shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit our website at www.uniquelivingja.com. Don't wait to spring into style with Unique Living.
It is 6:36.
No. 6 hour and 36 on the other. Don't forget.
Yeah. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us for Nationwide this morning. NTM, it's the big show. Hello to our peeps in the chat so far. All our YouTubers, good morning to you. Good morning to our friends out there in Radio Land. And good morning to our friends joining us from the app or from the website. Hello. Happy Tuesday. I'm Tona Thomas.
Good morning, Tona. My name is George. Good morning, Latoya B. Hey, every morning, George. We like it.
Yeah,
Albert Morgan, everybody, good morning.
Yeah. George, yesterday, how you are doing?
I never know. It's a big breeze and blow. Remember, I was in here for an extended period. So it was when I went to the production meeting, I think, that people talk about the breeze, and I said, which breeze? And I said, brother, out the door, turn upside down, inside out. I never.
Yeah, people are wondering if, a tornado was coming of some sort in their neck of the woods that they experienced, the big breeze.
It was a container tumbled down a wharf.
Yeah. And one of the branches on our ackee tree
for real
broke off.
Back or front?
Front.
Okay.
To the side there. Yeah, at the parking lot. Broke off. Yeah, nearly fell on somebody's car.
Oh my. Never knew it was so bad.
Yeah. Roofs lifted, we hear. And you had some people outside. The breeze nearly took them wet. Go inside. This is happening. Why would you stay outside? Because you just don't know. A zinc lift, lick you down, cut you.
Debris flying.
Debris.
So you know, say Almahiri couldn't walk outside and I breeze blow that,
Me couldn't walk out. I could not venture out. But I definitely get tickled. Yeah. But it's another squall line, because I was seeing something yesterday presenting a new terminology, a new phrase, a gust front.
Oh.
I was seeing that from Weather Jamaica, but Met Service has come out to say it was a squall line. Something similar to what we experienced. Was it last year?
Yeah, man. Last year there was an event.
Yes.
It was a night. You remember? I was in.
You were.
Yeah, I did a video. I was in Fontana's parking lot.
Yeah.
And the reason they take me away, the car lift up on me, I feel hunker down, and I was videoing it, and yeah, man, it was bad.
Yeah.
So it was similar to that.
And I think that was the first time I was registering something like that happening.
Oh.
I don't recall ever seeing
You were that
something
tricky
like
these
that.
days, isn't it?
I was wondering what is going on, and then the Met Service came with the term a squall line. A lot of us, including me, had to go to Google.
Yeah,
never know what that mean. So yesterday we were wondering again if that's what was taking place, but then we saw Weather Jamaica saying a gust front, but Met Service has said squall line.
So it was a video that you posted with this white fellow. I didn't watch it. I didn't get to watch it. I skipped it and then I didn't remember to go back. But it was an explainer as to what the gust front.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Met Service has come to explain what happened yesterday. So there might be other instances of this. So ensure when it's happening, you go inside.
Big breeze.
Big breeze. But on my mind this morning, George, and listeners, one of our well-known minds in Jamaica, and you soon find out what I'm talking about because you mentioned it too. One of our well-known minds in Jamaica who studies human societies and cultures, last week, Friday, said something that had some of us going, interesting, but we are perhaps not surprised. Social anthropologist and senior lecturer at the University of the West Indies, Mona, Dr. Herbert Gale. He was the guest speaker at the annual Outstanding Fathers Award ceremony hosted by the Ministry of Culture and Gender and its Bureau of Gender Affairs. And during his presentation, Dr. Gale said 2 of 3 Jamaican men who experience paternity fraud continue to take care of the child or children despite the shocking and bitterly disappointing discovery. 2 of 3 Jamaican men who experience paternity fraud continue to take care of the child despite the shocking and bitterly disappointing discovery. Now, this morning, of course, George and listeners, I would invite Dr. Gale to come on Nationwide and give us some more insights into the data that he has mined. But this finding is indicating to me what many of us witness in communities across this nation and what we hear from men in conversations with them. Many of us can point to a case or two, or perhaps three or more, where a man has discovered that the child is not his and they have not jumped ship. No DNA was done, but you have a community case or cases where the family of a little one starts to utter that the child A does not look like father A, but looks more like father B. Or you'll hear, George, people say that child A is definitely a Thomas, not a Davis, for example. And eventually, some women will confess that the child is not for father A, but rather for father B. And some men in those instances have chosen to stay and raise the child as their own. I've also had conversations with men who've given me this qualification for why they would stay. They've told me that if they've been raising the child or children and then somewhere down the road it is revealed that the child is not theirs, they're not going anywhere. And if 2 of 3 Jamaican men choose to stay, they should be applauded, because betrayal like that must sting. However, many continue to show up as responsible parents in the interest of a child who knows no other father, no other daddy. It's the risk of breaking a bond, fracturing a household, and uprooting a child mentally, emotionally, as well as financially, very important. And I believe this morning, as we had honored our fathers on Friday, that should be, on Sunday rather, that should be saluted. Jamaican men doing the honorable thing. A lot of Jamaican men are rightfully criticized for not showing up for their biological children. The elders in my community would say them drop seed and cut, leaving homes broken and some women burdened. So for the ones that show up under circumstances where the child holds no biological connection to them, those men this morning are the real MVPs. Now, a particular legislator, Georgian listeners, Hero Clark, some time ago, had proposed making DNA testing at birth mandatory, compulsory, you have to do it. And it was debated with some people supporting the proposal and others saying it could lead to domestic violence or aggression and that sort of a thing. Dr. Gale has provided his preliminary data about men who find out and have seemingly made the choice to stay and support the child or children they've been raising as their own all along. So I want to find out this morning, does the police have data to show that this sort of revelation has led to violence? What's the caseload presented across police jurisdictions in country in relation to these sort of circumstances? While the matter remains mooted, people are back and forth debating whether we should have mandatory DNA testing at birth or not. I wonder if the cost cannot be minimized through the public health services. I don't know, because some men, George, in conversation, they're arguing about cost. So I went to look at the prices because I was ignorant to the prices. I have no reason to really be looking for.
You'll never be in a jacket situation.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yes, you will never be in a jacket situation. Say it again, Tona.
Absolutely not. So, George, I went to look at the prices and saw fees ranging from $35,000, $40,000 to over $200,000. Yeah, so some people were saying or identifying it as a hurdle. Although I'd argue, why not make the sacrifice to save the $35,000 or $40,000 and find out, rather than be placed in the situation of parenting a child that is not yours in the long term. Obviously, that's going to cost way more. Eventually, down the road, paternity fraud has been manifested in other grave ways as well, not just about all the money you spend and they find out that child is not yours, but there have been suicide cases that I've heard about as well. After, for example, migration efforts are being done, and then all of that migration effort collapse when it's revealed through DNA that the child, that the man is not the father. Men must also be reminded this morning, George, that under the law, they can't take a woman to court. Women who knowingly misidentify the father on a birth certificate can face penalties under the Registration, Births and Deaths Act, including fines of up to $250,000 or imprisonment of up to 3 months, although I think that should be a little bit longer. Anywho.
You said that.
Yes, it should be a little bit longer. Yeah, women out there who deliberately, they know and they don't say anything. Yeah, you should face a little bit longer time in prison. So is paternity fraud going to stop? Of course, we know the answer to that. Absolutely not. Women will continue to do the do without much regard for some of you. Men with doubts cannot be quiet participants in the limbo, though. If you want to know, you have to act or wear the jacket proudly.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
There's a famous case.
Go ahead.
There's a famous case of one of our foremost rocksteady artists.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of an artist called Stranger Cole? Yeah, man. He has many hits. So Stranger Cole, let me say when Stranger Cole man, I never look upon him and I say, something right, because he don't look like no nice, please. So they nicknamed him Stranger. And the name stuck, so his artist name, Stranger Cole.
Yeah, the women, and it will be the matriarchs, you know.
Yeah, man.
The matriarchs, they come and they look at the face, the fingers, the toes, and they go, this one is not a Davis. This one looks more like a Thomas.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
and eventually
goodness.
down the road, maybe the woman has confided in somebody, and eventually it busts out in other communities. Say,
In
the
Jamaica-
little one was actually a Thomas, not a Davis.
In Jamaican society, minding a jacket though is a brave man's game. Which is why the two out of three have to doff your cap to them, because minding a jacket in Jamaica is a brave man's game.
In a lot of ways, because so many get ridiculed.
Yeah,
that's one.
Brave man's game.
For minding a child that's not theirs. And then it's crazy when you have the biological father who finds out now and wants to also play a part in the child's life, and then the two of them are tussling. And then somewhere down the road they get involved with the mother. Yeah, it can be chaotic.
Why?
But to those who do it, the 2 out of 3, yeah, man.
Why?
It's the honorable thing, and we salute you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why, man? I tell you, uno better than me.
That's what's on my mind.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:48.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 22 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 20 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Every day I come home from work knowing I'm made for more. I want to do my own thing. So I got a Jane Bank small business loan. I did. And when I opened up my liquor salon that first day, big things. Now I am my own boss, hopping my own style on the world. Jane Bank small business loan helped me trend up.
Jane Bank helps you grow your business with a Jane Bank small business loan that is perfect for you. Borrow from $10,000 up to $1.5 million to help cover expenses. Visit janebank.com to get started today. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
The name you trust to be your friend, to be a partner by your side. For generations we have been the one you trust as your financial guide. Sagicor, building trust for generations, helping hopes and dreams to grow, building our nation. Sagicor's the name you know. Sagicor.
Sagicor, celebrating 55 years.
Building trust for generations.
In the Eastern Caribbean, they call jackets horn child. I learned that one day while I was a sportsman. I laughed and I nearly did. I had to take a break.
Horn child?
Horn child. So in TNT and other places, well, TNT is southern, but places in Eastern Caribbean as well, when you get born, they say you're getting horn.
Oh.
So a horn child is a child who was conceived outside of your relationship with,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
they're born
I
as
get
a
it.
horn child. So they don't call it jacket, they say horn child.
Man, that sounds worse than...
I laughed. We laugh in water come up. They had to take a break because we couldn't control themselves. Anyway, Ludlow McLean doesn't know anything about horn children. Good morning, Ludlow. How are you?
Morning, sir. Don't know anything about that. Morning.
Morning to you, Ludlow.
Morning, son. Listeners, everything. You know, those of the motorists who live on the eastern side, I think in the mornings they have a quicker chance of reaching into the places like New Kingston. Because once you clear that little roundabout there in the Harbour View there in the vicinity of Don Quarry and coming around onto Michael, the surplus, it's really good going unless there's an accident. But you reach much quicker than if you're saying Havedale, Meadowbrook, or Haney Park, or any of those areas on that side, because I think it's really free flowing. Well, for the time being, as I said, it's not too bad going through Michael Manley Boulevard and onto the Port Royal Street. But if you're on the other side, on Spanish Town Road, trying to make it to 3 miles, you're going to make it, but it's a little bit more challenging. And down to Marcus Garvey Drive, because you remember now, lots of vehicles coming from Portmore, and they come through that causeway onto Marcus Garvey Drive. And it's the same thing from Spanish Town Road going through 3 miles and Marcus Garvey Drive. So it makes it a little bit more challenging, especially after this report. Now, the other areas that is moving, Hunter Park Road, there are gaps going all the way up to Eastwood Park Road, and going around, that's another area, South Road and Avenue, that carries a lot of traffic going down. And coming down Constant Spring Road, there was an accident this morning involving a motor vehicle accident, but I'm not so sure if it's cleared up yet. But it would have affected motorists in that particular area, Constant Spring Road, Eastwood Park Road, around that side there. And let's see what happens as the morning progresses. But so far, it's really bright and sunny and really, really windy yesterday. For those of you who are lightweight, the wind would have taken you up into the skies like, is it Elijah? Anyway, for the time being, it's our first report. George, it's back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much. Ludlow there with the Street Smarts one. Up next, the word of the day. The word of the day is horn.
Your word of the day. Here's the word of the day provided by dictionary.com. EQUIPONDERATE, spelled EQUIPONDERATE.
Equiponderate. Equiponderate. Equiponderate.
Equiponderate is your word of the day. It's a verb, equiponderate, meaning to equal or offset in weight, force, or importance. A synonym for equiponderate, counterbalance. And dictionary.com is telling us that the word was first recorded between 1635 and 1645.
I equiponderated between buying the same gifts for my biological children as the horn child in my household at Christmas time.
Here's the thing. I don't even know what to say.
What you have to say? The sentence match. It match.
Oh my goodness.
It match.
Oh my goodness. All right. So that's George's way of using the word equiponderate. Can I just say back to the score line? The score line. So some information. Listen, man.
Go on.
So I'm being told that the gust front is a feature of the score line.
Okay.
Right. So just to provide you with
Makes
that
sense.
information. I cannot. But there's so many stories popping up in the chat in relation to the what's on my mind. Someone saying my friend's 3 grown children are jackets after doing a DNA for immigration. They cried when they realized the man wasn't their father.
It's tragic.
And some Otis B says, George, if you spend more than 12 years with the child, it's going to be hard to separate.
That's true.
Yeah. So we perhaps will take some more of those comments if it is that you want to contribute to the conversation a little later on. But going to take a break now for features at the top of the hour of the news.
Last time, we told you about foods that help to maintain a heart-healthy diet. Today in Food for Thought, we are discussing foods you should avoid when trying to maintain a heart-healthy diet. Cardiovascular diseases, CVDs, are the leading cause of death globally. taking an estimated 17.9 million lives each year. Speaking with Nationwide's Ricardo Brooks recently, Managing Director of Complete Healthcare Solutions, CHS, Janet Rankin Henry, says sugary foods and processed meat are some of the foods to avoid.
Some things that you have to avoid, like your egg yolks. A lot of people in Jamaica will love eggs, so sometimes we all do 2 and 3 fry eggs.
They don't need that, man.
Remember, if you're frying the eggs,
Scramble it, man.
if you're frying the eggs, you're adding oil, and the yolk of the egg is one of the greatest sources of cholesterol. And the cholesterol, remember, we tell you, forms the plaque in the artery and causes issues. Things like your whole milk. We in Jamaica will love our milk, right? Instead of having the whole milk, you have the skim milk, which is less in fat. Things like your sugars. Remember, if you're having a lot of sugar, it means that you're having a lot of simple carbohydrates, which is going to be formed as fat in the body, and therefore your cholesterol level will also rise. Things like your butters, your corn oil, your vegetable oils, the margarine, these give us the saturated fats, which actually causes cholesterol in the arteries and cause issues over time. And of course, the heart will be under pressure. Peanuts and cashew. We in Jamaica love those.
Where is it to me?
Peanuts and the cashew are very high in fat.
Really?
And therefore, yes, they're very high in fat.
And you have me, when I think I need to snack, I think, try the peanut. Yeah, because
the better options would be the almonds. Because the cashew, 4 cashews equivalent to a teaspoon of oil, 10 peanuts equivalent to a teaspoon of oil. So they are very high in fat, and so we have to be always careful. Things like your sausage and your franks that men love, you have to be extremely careful with these because these actually have a lot of fat.
Janet Rankin Henry, Managing Director of Complete Healthcare Solutions, CHS. Mrs. Rankin Henry noted that an increase in physical activity is good for your overall health, and she recommends avoiding smoking and excessive alcohol intake. That's it for Food for Thought. Until next time.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Self-defense and safety walks hand in hand. There's simple techniques you can learn that will help you defend yourself. Hi, I'm Tana, and these are your lifestyle pages. Most predators will attack from behind. Don't panic. Remain calm and try one or more of the following. Deflect the hold. Press his forearm against your collarbone instead of trying to pull it directly off. Put one hand above his elbow and one below it. Then, in one strong and determined movement, step and swing your entire body around. Slide to the ground, drop your hips quickly, and let your body go limp. This will surprise your attacker and give you an extra moment to fend them off. You can also stomp on their shin, then reposition yourself for frontal defense. Be safe on the road. I'm Tana, and those were your lifestyle pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
News on the go. The latest stories from Jamaica and around the world are literally a finger tap away. Keep up to date with Teen Revolution 24 hours a day online via nationwideradiojm.com. Listen live, read the latest stories, hear every soundbite. Be a part of the vibrant online debate via Facebook and Twitter. Now you can get all your favorite premium Nationwide content at your convenience. Visit the Android Play Store and download it for free today. NationwideRadioJM.com. All day, every day. Team Revolution.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston or Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 today, Tuesday, June 17, 2025, policeman killed in St. James supermarket robbery. Murders are down 44% since the start of the year. Attorneys disagree over the GG's intervention to the Parliamentary Committee reviewing the Integrity Commission Act. And in international news, G7 leaders try to salvage their summit after Donald Trump's early exit.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Nationwide News understands that a police constable was shot and killed during a robbery at a supermarket in St. James on Monday afternoon. Dead is 39-year-old Gary Hamilton. Preliminary reports are that Constable Hamilton was working as a security guard at Andy's supermarket on Barnett Street in Montego Bay when the establishment was invaded by gunmen at about 5:52 p.m. The men proceeded to rob the business place of about $3 million in cash. It's understood that while making their escape, they were challenged by Constable Hamilton. The policeman was shot and killed. Nationwide News understands that at the time of his death, Constable Hamilton had been on suspension from the JCF since June 11, 2018. 303 murders were recorded between January 1 and June 14. That's according to the latest figures from the Jamaica Constabulary Force. That's 240 fewer than the 543 murders recorded in the corresponding period in 2024. Still, 14 homicides were recorded over the last 7 days. St. Andrew South continues to be a hotspot, leading the country's murder tally with 42. St. Catherine South is second with 28. Trelawney and St. Elizabeth have the fewest number of homicides, with each division recording 6. Meanwhile, cases of rape and shootings have both declined by approximately 33%, but robberies and break-ins have increased by approximately 3% and 21% respectively. The JCF's anti-lottery scam unit has seized roughly $15 million in cash in a series of raids across the parish of Hanover. More than 30 raids were carried out in Top Hill, Newtown, Sandy Bay and other areas between June 12 and 14. 4 individuals have been arrested, 3 of whom have been charged with breaches of the Law Reform Act. They are 21-year-old Maurice Campbell, 21-year-old Tajray Jones and 22-year-old Shamara Forbes. All 3 are from Hanover addresses. The JCF says the cash seized was of various currencies. Investigators also seized 3 imitation firearms and 11 high-end motor vehicles. The raids were carried out under the Scam Done Justice Around initiative, which was launched on June 5 in sections of St. James. It has since yielded over $28 million in cash, multiple high-value assets, and the arrest and charge of several individuals. Attorney at Law Kenyatta Powell has described as offensive recommendations from the Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen, to the Joint Select Committee reviewing the Integrity Commission Act. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday.
I don't just find the intervention unusual, and it is. I find it to be offensive in the extreme, because we are talking about the local representative of a foreign non-Jamaican monarch. And I think that it is right and proper that such a person must remain tightly within his or her constitutional limits. Yeah. Those limits are that where specific legislation does not confer a discretion on the Governor General to act in his or her own stead, the Governor General exercising executive authority can only do so upon the advice or recommendation, etc., of either the Prime Minister, the Minister's Cabinet, some commission, etc. And the Constitution is pretty clear about this.
According to a report carried in the Gleaner newspaper, Sir Patrick expressed concern about some of the Commission's processes. These include the process of appointing temporary staff. He also reportedly took issue with the ambiguity in leadership authority at the Integrity Commission. According to the article, Sir Patrick is suggesting that lawmakers create regulations under the Integrity Commission Act to clarify the process of appointment. But Powell says the Governor General is meddling.
I don't think that the Governor General being vested with certain authority in terms of receiving complaints and taking disciplinary action in relation to officers of the Integrity Commission means that that somehow gives the Governor General, whose functions are tightly prescribed in the Constitution. That doesn't mean the Governor General is somehow then at liberty to be inserting himself, because this is what he has done, inserted himself by his office in the part of the legislative process that the Constitution gives him absolutely no authority at all. The Governor General's sole authority in relation to legislation has to do with what comes at the end.
Kenyatta Powell, attorney at law. Meanwhile, attorney at law Shane Darling says there is merit to the intervention by the Governor General. He points to Sir Patrick's concern about the ambiguity in leadership authority at the Commission.
Of the Integrity Commission, as stated by the Governor General in the letter to Parliament, creates silos. You have an executive director that operates in silo from the other directors. So there are 4 other directors. Those 4 directors do not report to the executive director, but they report directly to the Commission, similar to the executive director. So it's a system like a CEO. You have a head of entity reporting to a board, but then you have the directors for that same entity reporting directly to the board. It creates a silo, so the executive director cannot really control the processes below him, because the directors who are supposed to be reporting to him are reporting to the same boss that he is reporting to. So it creates a little conundrum there in terms of good administration and good governance.
Darling also believes the concern expressed by Sir Patrick about the need for clarity in the process of appointing temporary staff at the IC is indeed valid.
It is in the legislation that the Governor General has the power to make appointment as well as acting appointment, save and except under Section 30 subsection 8 of the Integrity Commission Act, where the acting appointment is being made only for 3 months. Anything outside of 3 months, it is the Governor General's role to appoint somebody acting. Now, the Governor General is saying there is something awkward in this, because Section 30 subsection 8 runs counter to Section 35-36 of the Interpretation Act that states that he who has the power to appoint has the power to make acting appointment also. So Section 30 subsection 8 of the Integrity Commission Act gives a specific acting appointment, but only for 3 months. It is on.
In the meantime, Kenyatta Powell disagrees with Shane Darling about the need for clarity on the point of appointing temporary staff at the Integrity Commission.
Whenever I hear counsel say that something is untidy, I don't know what that means in terms of questions about legality. It is clear that what Section 30 subsection 8 is to give the Commission a specific power to make an acting appointment for a limited period of time, i.e. 3 months, 90 days. I'm not sure why it is that should be a problem. That counsel says it's untidy, and he says it's untidy because if it goes over a day over the 90 days, then the Governor General has to step in. But even that formulation is not quite true, because again, in terms of the appointment of the directors, the Governor General does not have an independent authority to act. He must act on the recommendation of the Commission.
Kenyatta Powell, attorney at law, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday. Candidates for the post of President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, are vowing to advocate for better wages and amendments to the Jamaica Teaching Council Bill. The contenders are Lawsonia Harrison, principal of St. Faith's Primary in St. Catherine, Jermaine Williams, a senior teacher at Manning's School in Westmoreland, and Dr. Maureen Mullings-Nelson, practicum placement officer at Michael University College. Speaking with our news center last Friday, Dr. Mullings-Nelson says she will resist the JTC bill.
When we look at the challenges with special education, there's no special education policy. Yet the data states that we have over 97% of special education students in our regular classes. And there's also a need for at least 3,000 special education teachers. The burden thereof usually falls squarely at our general education teacher. And then we want to speak about payment by performance. A vote for Maureen Mullings-Nelson would mean an advocate who is ready to rubbish such an idea. A vote for Maureen Mullings-Nelson is also a vote to resist the JTC bill.
Dr. Mullings-Nelson is the sister of dancehall star Vybz Kartel. She says the education system is in need of a stronger focus on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
So many of our students have behavioral challenges. What about revisiting SWPBIS? What about revisiting Conversation for Greatness? What about giving greater support to our Deans of Discipline program, which will help to build and boost our students? What about performing arts? What about that missing A? Instead of us pushing for STEM, what about STEAM? What about funding for STEAM? This country, Jamaica, is a cultural haven, and we are missing that. A vote for Maureen Mullins Nelson is a total transformation in the system.
Dr. Maureen Mullins Nelson, JTA President-elect candidate. Meanwhile, LaSonia Harrison says if she becomes president for a second term, it is her intention to advocate for better working conditions for both students and teachers.
A vote for LaSonia Harrison would be to advocate for not only a livable wage for the teacher, but for the conditions under which the children learn and the teachers serve. It needs improving. To advocate nationally for a national campaign for education, the return of the importance of education to this nation, and ultimately for the human capital, the greatest resource of this nation, to be treated with the dignity that they are in need of.
LaSonia Harrison. And Jermaine Williams says if successful, he will advocate for better pay for those teachers who are being underpaid based on their qualification.
I'm ready to lead. There are many things that the classroom teacher is facing, and I want to focus on that. Many of our teachers have a master's degree, and they're not being compensated for it. Colleagues, many of you are outstanding educators, and we need to have more master teachers in the system to celebrate more outstanding teachers. Because if we want to market the teaching profession, we need to develop a program that markets the teaching profession and one that also promotes public recognition.
Jermaine Williams, JTA President-elect candidate. The three educators vying to take over from Principal of St. Thomas High, Mark Malav, in August, engaged in a presidential debate last Friday. The process of selecting a new president-elect is currently underway across the island. Just over 20,000 JTA members are expected to participate in the process. PNP caretaker for East Central St. Andrew, Dennis Gordon, says he'll prioritize the training of young people if he wins the right to represent the constituency after the next general election.
There are 515 businesses in East Central St. Andrew, and I'm reaching out to them to form a partnership where they employ one unattached youth for 6 months. And once they are finished, they will matriculate to Art NTA so they can have a certification. I am going to ensure that all youths in East Central St. Andrew who are ready to be certified, I am that guy who's going to lead that charge.
Gordon, the current councillor for the Maxfield Park Division in the KSAMC, was speaking during a PNP meeting at Norman Manley High on Sunday night. He's looking to replace Dr. Peter Phillips, who has held the seat for the PNP since 1993. Gordon told comrades that housing and land titling will also get priority attention.
One of my tasks is to lift people out of intergenerational poverty. We have seen so much of that. And it is the reason why I am dedicating myself as their person to transform their lives out of that cycle of poverty. We're going to do that through the most robust titling, housing, and land reform you have ever experienced in this constituency. I'm going to advocate for reverse mortgages for the senior citizen so they can live out their life. If we can provide a source of income to allow them to better able to maintain those property, the value and the equity is insurmountable.
Dennis Gordon, PNP caretaker for East Central St. Andrew. Meanwhile, the JLP's caretaker in East Central St. Andrew, Davian Vassell, says the constituency needs transformational leadership.
The roads are in a very deplorable state. It would appear that over the years they have been neglected. There's no proper social infrastructure. If you look around, there's not one active community center where people can go and learn skills and all of these things, vocational training. Besides, the German auto school, I don't really see anything else. If you're not interested in auto, what else? Yeah, you can't learn carpentry, you can't learn plumbing, you can't learn anything because there's nothing in place for young people, to empower young people, to empower growth within the space.
Speaking at Tarrant High on Sunday night, Vassal says constituents in Cassia Park and Hagley Park can expect active and participatory leadership.
Cassia Park is considered by the PNP as a labor right division. What is the significance of that? As a result of that, they don't do any work in Cassia Park because they see doing work in Cassia Park as strengthening Beverly Prince. In order to get your roads fixed, in order to get your infrastructure up and running, you have to vote for the Jamaica Labour Party. To the voters in Hagley Park, the PNP sees you as a necessary inconvenience. What do I mean by that? The only time they do work is around election time. So after you vote for them, you don't see them. You need representation that is there for you when you need it.
Davian Vassal, JLP caretaker for East Central St. Andrew. Overseas news now. U.S. President Donald Trump says he expects better than a ceasefire between Israel and Iran after warning people earlier to evacuate Tehran. He made the comment after his early departure from the G7 summit in Canada, but it's still unclear what he meant. Iran and Israel are exchanging fire for a fifth straight day, with Iranian media reporting explosions and heavy air defense fire in Tehran overnight. Iran launched 2 waves of missiles in response to the Israeli attacks, setting off air raid alerts in parts of central and northern Israel in the early hours of Tuesday. The attacks were less intense than previous nights, and there were no reports of direct impact or casualties. That's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:17.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Ocharis, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The gateway for Jamaica's athletes to several international competitions, including the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan, opens from Thursday, June 26 to Sunday, June 29 for the J3A Junior and Senior National Championships at the National Stadium, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. Admission, finish area season tickets, $8,000. Daily, $1,000 to $3,000. Regular grandstand season tickets, $6,500. Daily, $1,000 to $2,500. Tickets go on sale at MysticOnlineTix.com. Starting June 11th, Pegasus Hotel and the Stadium Ticket Office. Starting Monday, June 23. The action will be sizzling.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. Morning to our listeners on Motoring Public and our visitors. Yes, morning time. Some clouds above. What do you call it now? It was bright earlier on, and I'm noticing some clouds above, mostly cumulonimbus and some cumulus cloud. Don't know if we're going to get that wind again today, or that I forget the name. Gust. Right. I heard Ricardo talking about the gust. He has never heard of that one. Anyway, the situation though, I did mention in the lower section of the covered area, Kingston and St. Andrew and Michael Manley Boulevard, where those areas still moving steadily. As I said, the bulk of the traffic really is on Spanish Town Road, Marcus Garvey Drive. But when you go uptown now, like Perkins Estate, going on to Reddings Road, you're going to have a line of traffic heading on to Reddings Road and going along Mullines Road. There are gaps along Mullines Road, but it builds actually in the vicinity of the Western District Post Office. That's the intersection of Mullines Boulevard and the Marvelly area there. Reddings Road has a lot of traffic coming, especially when you leave that overpass by Don Robin and Washington Boulevard and go all the way around to connect with Eastwood Park Road. And there's also traffic along Maninzi Road connecting with Constantine Road. That's in the Mayor Brown's corner, going further down. What's happening around Shortwood? Shortwood Road is not too bad, but there, as you get closer to Grand Pen, that's where it builds. So those of you who are going through places like Norbrook, going through Cherry Gardens, and then going through the Barbican area, when you get to Russell Heights, that's where you're going to have some traffic. And also, if you're coming out of Spencer James, onto Bergsucker Lane, you're going to have some traffic there. So it's building around the Barbican area there, going around towards East Kings, where there are also gaps taking across the Hope and Lady Musgrave Road. So there you go. The traffic is building, and no doubt after the support, there'll be traffic in many other areas and intersections. So we urge you to be safe as usual. At Street Smart, your safety is all concerned. George, over to you.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow there with Street Smarts. 2 up next, front page. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned into our discussion segment, The Front Page. On the front page this morning, we're focusing on agriculture as we recognize the start of the hurricane season. The Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, is encouraging farmers to intensify their preparations for the hurricane season in order to protect their livelihoods and safeguard the nation's food security. The Atlantic hurricane season spans from June 1 to November 30, a period when tropical or subtropical cyclones are most likely to develop in the North Atlantic. Forecasts for the 2025 season indicates above normal activity, with approximately 19 named storms expected. Of these, 9 are projected to become hurricanes and 4 could strengthen into major hurricanes category 3, 4, or 5 on the Safford-Simpson hurricane wind scale. In July last year, Hurricane Beryl struck Jamaica as a category 3 hurricane, causing widespread disruptions to water, electricity, internet, and telephone services, and resulting in millions of dollars in agricultural losses. How have farmers recovered from the devastation of Hurricane Beryl last year, and how are they preparing for this year's hurricane season? We're being joined by lead farmer and technical director at the Treasure Beach Hydroponics Farmers, Hopton Singh, and St. Elizabeth farmer, Enrica Parchment. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. To begin with you, Hopton, I remember having you on last year after Hurricane Beryl, and you were indicating to George and myself about your losses, saying you had 2 farms. You, of course, operate hydroponic farms, and you were indicating 30,000 square feet of farm space that was destroyed at one of your farms, and the other as well, which you had 2 hydroponic farms that were also destroyed. And you said you had put in about 80 million in investment. Talk to us about how that recovery went down last year. You said it would have taken about 6 months.
Right. So one of the location, the Holland Bamboo location, that farm's up and running. In fact, we were able to plant immediately after, about a week after the hurricane. We had a not so good summer crop, but the subsequent crops were short of amazing. Okay. The Treasure Beach operation, we're still in salvaging mode. It's 100 tons of wrangled, twisted metal and plastic and insect netting. So we're still trying to salvage that operation.
Have you talked to us about, bring us onto the farm and tell us and give us a description of what's there now, what you've been able to undertake there and what's not fixed, and where do you go from there?
All right. So currently we're operating from a reduced square footage, about 16,000 square feet we're currently operating from right now. We have some structures that weren't affected by the hurricane, but they weren't built. So we're in construction mode. We're trying to get those up, but our priority was to get the operational up and running so we could have some cash flow and fund construction of the additional square footage we have.
Mm-hmm. And how has that, the whole thing of Hurricane Beryl coming to Jamaica affecting your farms and the damage that you've suffered, how has that set you back?
Well, as you know, we got battered really bad. You know, it has set us back a whole year. We're still recuperating. We like I said, we're in salvaging mode at Treasure Beach, so that's a complete loss. You know, we haven't recovered from that. But, you know, we're picking up the pieces and moving on slowly.
In terms of the output, Hopeton, I want to get some specifics on that. What was the yield from both facilities in the good times before Beryl, and what is the yield now?
Okay, so we've, at Treasure Beach, post-Beryl, we had 30,000 square feet that we were harvesting, bell peppers, cocktail tomatoes, and the big beefsteak.
That's
tomatoes.
pre-Beryl, before Beryl.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, pre-Beryl, sorry. And now we're just down to the 16,000 square feet at the Holland Bamboo operation. So we're literally producing 1/3 of what our normal output would have been.
And what has this done to your ability to supply your customers? Your supply chain has been severely disrupted. How have you accounted for that?
Well, our business, we have a distribution business. So, you know, that it directly affects that. My partner has to go out and source bell peppers and tomatoes from other local farmers. So, you know, there is the obvious reduction in profits that we realized from having to purchase produce, you know, for packing and distribution.
Did you suggested to myself and Tony when you spoke initially that you didn't have, I'm trying to recall if you said you didn't have insurance protection. So, so with that as the case now, so you're trying to get Holland Bamboo to, as you say, give you the room to get Treasure Beach back up and running. Is that something a year on that is still a sustainable endeavor? Do you need fresh capital though?
Yes, we absolutely need fresh capital. Otherwise, the cogs are going to turn pretty slowly because we would have to do all the salvaging and reconstruction from receivables, you know, and you know, that trickles in, you know, so we definitely need some injection of working capital to move forward.
How many people were assisting you on your farm, Hopeton?
With Treasure Beach, we had 30,000 square feet, and our formula is about one person per 2,000 square feet. So we had at one point in the vicinity of about 10 people working between two farms.
Is it that they have lost their jobs, or you've been able to transfer them to the Holland property for employment?
No, because the Holland property is limited with square footage. We have maybe 4 to 6 people here. Mm-hmm. The other folks have moved on, hopefully to something better. But until we're up and running again, you know, there's nothing we can do about that.
We're speaking with Hopeton Singh, and we're going to bring in after the break Enrico Parchment, talking about the agriculture sector, the losses suffered last year in Hurricane Beryl, and how they are preparing for the hurricane season this hurricane season. I'm going to take that after the break and bring in Enrico.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
7:30.
Fix up with Fleetwood products for your home improvement, personal care, and aromatherapy needs. They have your well-being in mind. Available at retailers island-wide. The temperature by Fleetwood Jamaica is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Yo, genius! Me just get the Burger King Double King combo. One original chicken sandwich plus a Whopper Junior with cheese. Well, 2 sandwiches, plus a small fries and soda for only $1,300.
You use the new rubber money. You did say the money can stretch a Burger King.
Me mean you get more food for your money.
Oh.
1 combo, 2 sandwiches.
So you want I got eat whole of 2 sandwich, brother? My belly can stretch,
Get the BK Double King combo. Limited time only at Burger King.
Taxi drivers, ready to start earning more money? Join Amber On Time, Jamaica's taxi app built just for you. 0 commission in the first month, no catch. Plus get a free vehicle tracker to protect you and your ride. Stolen vehicle recovery and panic alarm response included. Download the Amber Captain app today and start driving. Or roll through to our office at 30 Westminster Road, Kingston and sign up on the spot. So whether you're the Kingston, Mobay, Ochi or anywhere else, work there. Come take advantage.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
Jamaica! It's time for Make a Move with Jamaica Moves. The Corporate Wellness Challenge 8x8 edition is here. 8 challenges, 8 months, 1 healthier workforce. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This national movement pushes companies to compete, connect, transform your workplace 1 challenge at a time. Launch date Thursday, June 19, 2025. Register your company online at moh.gov.jm and lock in your spot. The Jamaica Moves Corporate Wellness Challenge 8x8 edition. Creating healthier workplaces for a healthier Jamaica.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, having a conversation with Enrico Parchment and Hopeton Singh about the agriculture industry, how they were affected last year by Hurricane Beryl and the preparations for this hurricane season. Going to bring you in now. Enrico, good morning again.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on NTM. Talk to us about what damage you suffered last year and what you've been able to salvage.
Had half acres of tomato at the time, and like 2 days after, everything just burned right off after burial.
Mm-hmm. And following that, how have you been able to pick up the pieces?
It's been rough, but going on same way. We got help from Food for the Poor because we have a farm group.
Yes, and talk to us about the sort of help that you got from Food for the Poor that put you back on your feet.
We got some seeds and some fertilizers and some sprays and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we plant back and was going on with some tomato again. And then the prices just went down to nothing.
Because of oversupply.
Yeah. And it just stays in the ground and just rotting.
What's the price now?
20, went to 20 at the time. Not now.
Oh, at the time.
Now,
yeah. So what price would have been good for you?
Anything above $50.
Per pound.
Any crop you're farming, and if you're not getting over $50 per pound, you're not making anything.
Because of the oversupply, too many people had tomato.
Yeah.
So in that first crop, you didn't really make back anything, Enrico?
No.
So how did you bounce back from that? So the first crop of tomatoes, you didn't make much?
It's not easy right now because the weather is still rough right now on this side. Because even now, the other day we planted 2 packs of beetroot and we have to burn it back off because it was so poorly growing because the weather is hot and all of that.
What about water supply down there?
The water supply is not that great because of the way the line is situated. We're like on the end of the line, and then when the dry weather comes, everybody's using, so we are not getting that pressure to do as we'd like to do.
The farmers group that you're in, what is the experience of some of your colleagues in that farmers group?
It's rough on everybody. It's not just on one person. It's rough all around.
You do tomato, the weather. What you do tomato, what do some of the others do?
With the tomato, beetroot, melon, and the melon is not doing well as well because we even had piece of melon the other day and it didn't work out that well either.
And the main issue for the farmers now is the impact of, I didn't want to say impact of climate change. It's the fact that the sun, too much sun.
Not even too much sun. As you said, climate change, it's here, it's real, and it's taking its toll on it. And after Beryl, I don't think nothing is normal from Beryl right now.
I was going to ask you that, because I was going to ask you if the weather patterns have changed since Beryl, and tell me how.
Right now, we're experiencing some extreme breeze from the other day, and then yesterday was even worse. Yesterday, it was like a hurricane passing through yesterday.
How long did that last for yesterday, that big breeze?
All day. And it's been very, very, very windy from before this week, from probably last week or before.
And you are saying that before Beryl, the conditions were not what you're experiencing now?
No, it's not.
What, if any, assistance have you guys gotten from RADA?
Well, we haven't gotten any assistance from RADA. Not even had seen any RADA officer since the hurricane coming to check on the farm and to assess what happened.
So apart from food for the poor, you've been left on your own?
Yeah. We apart from, we also see JS because our group is a JS group.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
So the Agricultural Society lends assistance.
So we have seen persons from JS.
So you say climate change is real and is here and is doing damage, and you say the weather conditions, it's difficult to predict the conditions after Beryl when you knew what the conditions would have been before Beryl.
Yeah.
So
and it seems to be more extreme now.
Yes.
It's hot, real hot these days.
I want you to give people the idea, Enrico, to drive home the point, because I myself, years ago, when people said that the tomato burn up, I thought they were just saying, well, the sun caused it to dry up, but I didn't know that it burn up.
Beryl, because of the weather, the rain and the breeze that Beryl came with.
Yes.
It after Beryl went away, a day after, you will see the leaves just start to just turn black. Everything just turning black.
Are you thinking
it's like it come with a lot of salt and the wind and the rain just battered the leaf.
Yes. Are you thinking of switching crops, Enrico?
No, you just have to just keep farming what you know can withstand the weather.
Right. So if
what the market demands.
If the tomato and the beetroot struggling in the conditions you're experiencing now, are you thinking of perhaps planting something else?
We even do cucumbers as well.
And how the cucumbers fare?
It's not like once before, but you still have to do them.
I understand.
Enrico, any of your friends there who are a part of the farming community, have they switched to do some other thing to earn a living, or they're sticking it out like you?
Everyone is They do more than one, They do livestock and crop.
You also do livestock?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that is picking up or for what you're losing in the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopetown, the way forward for you, you say, boy, capital is needed, and you I'm sure you and your partner have knocked heads and to see how it is that you can attract this capital. What are some of the options you may explore?
We're actively seeking, looking out for any grant funding. Once we get the first 10,000 square feet of greenhouse space up and running, we'll be in a better position here. But this climate change thing is pretty real, all right? And farmers, more than anybody else, are in tune with the environment. So while the climate deniers are out there yapping, we know that it's a fact. One of the things we can do is protected agriculture. The startup for that is usually a constraint, but then there is the whole availability of seeds. RADA distributed a ton load of seeds, and I think that contributed to the glut we had after the hurricane. So Mr. Enrique may not have seen them, but that may be a function of the amount of extension officers they have.
Mm-hmm.
But in my area here, we've seen them, and they've certainly assisted with fertilizer and seeds and greenhouse coverings. I can attest to that here. But there are areas where I'm pretty sure people didn't see them.
Yes.
And it's just they can't be in two places at once, basically.
Yes.
The availability of seed, as far as preparedness is concerned, is what we need to have. I understand. I keep my ears to the track, and I understand from a number of seed suppliers that the people who grant the permits are holding the country hostage. It has been a situation where people had to visit the Minister of Agriculture to get this thing sorted out, and nothing's changing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a handful of people who are literally holding the country hostage because they won't allow the seed suppliers to import the seeds in the quantities. It's always one thing or the other. All right? So that's something that needs to be changed. We, as far as preparedness is concerned, we need to keep an inventory of seeds, fertilizer, and whoever is in the greenhouse business need to keep a few rolls of plastic and netting.
Yeah.
Here, there's also the issue with power after a hurricane. Especially when you depend on electricity to run pumps,
Mm-hmm.
you really need that. You really need to have a little backup generator. Now, I realize that may be out of reach for, small farmers,
yes.
but that's the type of thing that we need to look for.
Yes.
We need to get prepared, really.
What of your colleagues down that side, Hopetown, who are also into hydroponic farming and who would have been brushed by burial, still in the same position as you, or people are back up and running fully? How it go?
They're up and running, but let me tell you something. It's an expensive process. You see, when there's an impending hurricane, we have to strip the coverings off of the greenhouse. That requires some specialized labor, and the coverings they're hard to salvage because we put them on, we tension them and trim the excess. All right, and when you take the coverings off, it's hard to salvage to put them back on, and it's an expensive process. So if a hurricane we have to be absolutely sure that we're going to get hit,
mm-hmm.
so we can strip the greenhouse down. The wind will pass through the frame, we'll lose our crops, and but at least we would have saved our structure. And it's I obviously bouncing back would be much easier.
Yeah. You said earlier that you whereas you would reap from your farm and supply to your customers, you have to be purchasing to supply.
Yes.
Have your clients been complaining about any difference in quality?
Well, my partner, who has a distribution business, he has to purchase, and everybody has the same problem. Even resilient crops like corn,
mm-hmm.
Or entire crops or are being ruined because of the heat situation.
Yes.
You know, so we're trying to do, especially for field crops, more heat tolerant crops. But boy, I tell you, you know, I mean, this heat not normal.
Yeah. Enrico, the old Farmer's Almanac that farmers used to use as a guide, that now the use again, given no climate change up everything?
I think it's still good for planting days and all of that.
So it's still relevant?
Yeah, it's still relevant for planting.
Hear you on that. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time this morning. Hopetoun. You were saying, Enrico?
I would have said that I think importation of certain goods is what is driving down most of the prices.
So you don't think it's local production?
No.
And what gives you that impression?
Because at times some of the buyers will come and say that the produce, the quantity or the quality that is here, they're rather to go and buy it from containers that is imported than the one that is here.
Oh, so the imported stuff better than yours in terms of quality and yield
and size.
Yes,
and size as well.
Yes, so you're up against that. All right, I hear this one. We have to run. The time is up. Hopetoun Singh, thank you. Enrico Parchment, thank you. Hopetoun is a lead farmer and technical director at Treasure Beach Hydroponic Farmers. And Enrico Parchment, he plants tomato and beetroot down there in St. Elizabeth. Both men, same situation, damaged by beryl, and in their own different ways, trying their best to get back to where they were before beryl. 30,000 square feet. Locked down, mangled metal, twisted plastic, almost starting from zero.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way.
Yeah, and you're hearing the impact of it because he employed 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of those people, you know, they've lost their jobs. But he's saying hopefully they've gone on to another form of employment.
After the break, we want to play for you, give you a flavor of what the people vying for the post of president-elect of the JTA, what they sound like when they're in a debate.
Birdshot fried chicken always ready. Birdshot, original crispy. Birdshot, Cajun spicy. Birdshot, a barbecue. Birdshot, we are go a Birdshot.
The time brought to you by Birdshot Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ocho Rios is
7:48.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
And vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety. Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
More savings, more choices. Get active with Active Home Center. The one-stop shop for everything for your home. We have more savings, more choices, unbelievable prices. Wide selection with the latest style. The kitchen, bathroom, right down to the tile. Buy the hottest items on spot, don't miss out. Best options under one roof, no doubt. More savings, more choices.
Visit us in store or online at www.activehomecenter.com.
We have more savings, more choices.
All right, candidates for the post of president-elect of the JTA. That's how they do it. There's a president who's going to take charge in short order. So now there are 3 people vying to replace Mark Malav when his term in office ends a year from now. So the 3 are LaSonia Harrison. She's been here before, president before. She's the principal of St. Faith's Primary in St. Catherine. Jermaine Williams is a senior teacher at Manning's School in Westmoreland. And Dr. Maureen Mullings Nelson is a practicum placement officer at Michael University College. Jovan Johnson was moderating, the Gleaner's Jovan Johnson, a senior reporter there, was moderating the president-elect debates. Here we have some excerpts for you.
What specific timeline do you propose for increasing entry-level teacher salaries to $3.6 million? What specific timeline?
Well, currently, we are in the first wage negotiations coming out of the compensation review. And so, becoming the 62nd president of the JTA, and certainly serving in my president-elect year, supporting the then president or incoming president, Mr. Malava, we will certainly be agitating during those negotiations for the teachers to get their fair due, at least at that which the Ernst & Young study had proposed for the teachers to receive at the minimum level. Those of us who know our strategies in negotiations will know that there are higher heights for the teachers.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, how will you convince the government to benchmark teachers' basic salaries to $30,000 US?
Thank you for that question. In our current situation, many of our seasoned educators are leaving. The idea behind that is that many of our Caribbean counterparts, that's the average annual salary. And so I'd start the conversation with the government that these are the realities happening in other Caribbean countries to see how best they can reallocate funds and put more emphasis on our teachers who are the bedrock of this education system and deserve more, because the teachers who are currently in the system, they're struggling because they have had to take on timetables for other educators because the schools are short on teachers, and as a result we have had to be doing that even for myself at Manning School. And so I'll have the conversation and to show them the record that this is the current situation, and if this problem is fixed, then our education system will be fixed because our seasoned educators will not be leaving the shores of Jamaica.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mullings Nelson, what metrics will you use to measure quality of life improvements for teachers under your compensation proposals?
Thank you for that. Metrics would include the teacher's ability to pay basic things, light, water, to do the elusive savings and investment based on their age. Also, the teacher's ability to take care of their constituent, meaning their children, Too many of our educators are struggling. Another major metrics would be the teacher's ability to buy a house. Throughout this campaign, one of the greatest cries that I've heard is the fact that so many of our educators are leaving the system or are about to go into retirement without the ability to buy a house. So the basic thing, Maslow's hierarchy of need, is the only metrics, the fact that teachers must be able to buy food. Teachers must be able to take care of self and their children. Once we put those things in place, we'll truly begin to see some real growth and development of our teachers and the growth of the education system. Because once we properly remunerate our teachers, then we will begin to see a shift in a lot of things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mullins Nelson.
Jovan Johnson moderating there. So he went on to pose questions to the three candidates. Let me tell you again, LaSonia Harrison, principal of St. Faith's Primary in St. Catherine. Jermaine Williams, he's a senior teacher at Manning's School in Westmoreland. And Dr. Maureen Mullins Nelson is practicum placement officer at Michael University College. So Jovan Johnson asked them to indicate how they will address the country's literacy problem.
I would not say so. I believe that our hardworking teachers across the length and breadth of Jamaica have been doing their best under the circumstances with the resources that they're provided with. Now just imagine many of these students that are coming into the various levels of school. So say, for example, students moving from primary into high school. We're not sure what happened at the primary school, but when they move into the high school, here is a class of 50 students. And you have an hour to teach a subject, and you know that we're all about results, getting good grades to pass exams, CXC, City and Guilds, CAPE, etc. Now, when is it that this teacher finds time to address all of these challenges that, say, possibly 50% of this 45 number of students in the class are having that literacy issue? How is it that this teacher will deal with all of this? And how is it that, say, for example, the school that I teach, almost 2,000 students, how is it that, and say one literacy specialist, how do we address all of those problems? And so I believe that the Ministry of Education must provide greater support in that regard. We have in more literacy specialists, etc., and nip it in the bud from the early stage. So whether the foundation, whether it be the early childhood or the primary level, that we try to correct those challenges from that point. And of course, at times we need to pull out these students from the regular school, address these issues, because we're all about literacy and numeracy. When the foundation is set, then we can build on that foundation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Mrs. Harrison has a rebuttal.
Well, I'm not sure if it's a rebuttal. I will just say, until as a nation, we commit to fixing the foundation, until we assess at the early childhood level, until we decide that we are going to stop paying lip service to early childhood education and that we inject the required cash. So many of the reports, the Task Force Report 2004, the 2021 report, have underscored that early childhood needs urgent attention in this nation. And so all of that is critical to us establishing those special needs unit that will help to support and both. And furthermore, we need a national parenting campaign and support, because education starts in the womb and literacy starts at home.
Did you get answers to the questions?
No, I didn't. Because, for example, this one asked, what will you do to address the country's literacy problem? And I think the response is focused more on pointing fingers at the authorities, what the authorities should do, what is needed, what is missing. But what about you? How are you going to contribute to that problem, which was the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, before we go, Damon, we have to play more for the people to hear. The principal of St. Faith's Primary in St. Catherine, LaSonia Harrison, was asked about what to do to address the mental health of the nation's teachers.
I thank my colleague from the Northeast region for that question about teachers' mental health. Now, one of the proposals of my 7-item manifesto is that of certainly promoting the health and well-being of our colleagues. One of the things, apart from improving, in addition to improving, lobbying to improve our GSO and GPASO plans, or for in-service and retired teachers, also want to, I believe, when there is trauma that happens in our schools, and they unfortunately happen too regularly, then I believe the Jamaica Teachers Association, because we already have a in-house counseling unit, and I believe the president, in visiting our schools, should be walking with members of that team to support our colleagues on the ground and to assist them in making the instant connection to accessing these counseling services that we collectively pay for the teachers of this nation. In addition, as you talk about mental health, the Jamaica Teachers Association certainly continuing and bolstering our structure, our robust sports program for our teachers, where it is that we allow the teachers to come together and to fellowship and to exercise through our teacher rally, our netball and football, cricket, all of that, and continue also to advocate where it is that the government provides greater level of support for the teachers of this nation to ensure and to pay the teachers well. A livable wage, the lack of pay is certainly affecting the mental health of the teachers of this nation.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Harrison. We now go to our first break of the 2025 JTA presidential debate. 3 contenders, 1 platform. More after these.
That's the Gleaners, Jovan Johnson, moderating. What do you think? I just leave it at that.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah. Across Jamaica after these.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:03.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica this morning.
And across Jamaica this Tuesday morning, the National Democratic Party, NDM, says it has no intention of contesting the upcoming general elections. It says this is due to delays in the constitutional reform process. NDM President Peter Townsend spoke with our news center on Monday.
NDM is unlikely to contest the upcoming election. We have been focusing on the whole matter of constitutional reform because we gathered that there was supposed to have been a referendum being held this year with regards to establishing a new constitution. It seems as if that process has been derailed by the shenanigans of the PNP and the JLP, and I don't see a referendum being held in the same year of a general election. That seems very unlikely. And so the general election itself is not our priority right now. We're really focused on the constitutional reform process. And we expect election to be held this year, but we don't intend to field any candidate in this election cycle.
Peter Townsend, president of the NDM. The party was formed in the early 1990s by former Prime Minister Bruce Golding. The Falmouth Health Centre in Trelawney is to be expanded as part of the Minister of Health and Wellness's Operation Refresh initiative. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement at a press briefing at the centre on Friday. The minister said the facility could go up a floor and the administrative block retrofitted for clinical services. Works are also set to include the installation of solar panels, air conditioning units, and a water catchment system. The minister added that other health centres in the parish are also to benefit from the Refresh initiative. He named the facilities as Low River, Troy, and Bounty Hall among them. The Wakefield, Duncans, and Waitabit health centres are also on the list. Minister Tufton says the Jacksontown Health Centre also benefited from Operation Refresh and is slated to be reopened shortly. Operation Refresh is a $1 billion government-led initiative to enhance the aesthetic appeal, functionality, and overall experience of selected health centers across the nation. The Universal Service Fund, USF, is extending its internet connectivity drive to craft markets, beginning with the Kingston Craft Market, one of the largest in the island. Chief Executive Officer Charlton McFarland said the rollout forms part of the organization's wider efforts to enhance connectivity in spaces that support economic activity and small businesses. He noted the move is expected to boost commerce and improve entrepreneurial capacity. McFarland says the Craft Market project is among several partnerships the USF has undertaken to support national development through technology. The agency's mandate is to ensure access to information and communications technology in underserved communities and sectors. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Tuesday morning.
Make a toast to your future. The JTA Cooperative Credit Union is by your side. All educators, the best is what you deserve.
We'll keep your dreams alive.
Competitive loans to help you grow.
We'll take you higher.
Great returns on your savings. A bright future is in the making.
Build the best you with the best credit union. We are committed to serving you.
The JTA Cooperative Credit Union, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Taste it, eat it, drink it, applaud it. The 26th staging of the Jamaica Observer Table Talk Food Awards, the Caribbean's premier culinary event powered by MasterCard, takes place Thursday, June 26 on the East Lawns of King's House. Get your tickets at Starbucks at AC Marriott, Starbucks Ligony, Starbucks Waterloo, Signature Boutique, Unit 9, Legal Business Centre, 31 Upper Waterloo Road, Uncorked 2, Constant Spring Road, Uncorked Barbican, Sovereign North, Uncorked Ochi, Draxhall, Uncorked West, Fairview Shopping Centre, Resort Way by Ereline, Shop 4 Progressive Shopping Centre, Kingston, Cafe Dolce, 114 Constant Spring Road, Kingston, Fromage Bistro, 8 Hillcrest Avenue, Kingston, and of course the offices of the Jamaica Observer in Kingston and Montego Bay. Adults 18 years and over. Drink responsibly.
Looking for a gym that's got it all? Welcome to Express Fitness, where fitness meets convenience. With 24/7 access, you can work out whenever it suits you. And with island-wide locations, we're always close by anywhere and anytime. Love classes? We've got them. From aerobics to dance to spin, you name it, we've got it. Our certified trainers are here to take you on a journey. Call us at 888-FITNESS or visit our website at expressfitnessja.com. Express Fitness, your goal or mission.
Join Cliff Hughes Online on Tuesday, June 17, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. live from the Jamaica Conference Center, Port Royal Street, downtown Kingston. The employment of over 10,000 youth in a bid to enhance the services offered by the local government sector will be the prime focus of the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development's Youth Summer Employment Program, YSEP. Hear highlights on the benefits, purpose, and structure of YSEP from special guest speaker, Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, and Portfolio Minister the Honorable Desmond McKenzie. That's a live broadcast of Cliff Hughes Online, Tuesday, June 17, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. live from the Jamaica Conference Center, Port Royal Street, downtown Kingston. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM on Tuesday, June 17 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the live sectoral presentation by the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett. Also, you can view the presentation on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. So tune in to Nationwide 90 FM on Tuesday, June 17 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's the live sectoral presentation by the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism.
Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the annual Realign Business and Investment Conference 2025 at the Jamaica Pegasus on Wednesday, June 25. Join us for the Realign Business and Investment Conference featuring keynote speaker Ambassador Audrey Marks, Ambassador Janet Alyssa, and visionary investor David Mullings. This event focuses on investments and partnerships, powering economic prosperity, engaging global Africa. Don't miss this opportunity to connect, invest, and grow. Be part of the movement. Realign your future today. So tune in to Cliff Views Online June 25 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the annual Realign Business and Investment Conference 2025 at the Jamaica Pegasus. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Entrepreneurial Partners Limited.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the MSME Business Roadshow in Westmoreland, Wednesday, June 18 at Manning School. Take your business to another level and get ready to start, innovate, export, and grow. Join Jamaica's business ministry and gain access to government incentives, financing opportunities, and vital MSME support to fuel your growth. You'll even have the chance to win up to $400,000 in business cash grants. So bring your ideas, your ambition, and your drive. So tune in to Cliff Views Online June 18 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the MSME Business Roadshow in Westmoreland. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce and the Inter-American Development Bank. Register now at roadshow.miic.gov.jm.
Well, we can tell you that the clips we played from the JTA presidential debate, the reaction to them from people in the YouTube chat, and several messages I've gotten on my phone, Tana, not positive at all. They, I don't know. You see, you expect what in a debate, you get a direct question, you answer the question.
Yes.
And as you pointed out, the answer to the question is not what them and the system is not doing. If you're asked, what will you do? What will I do to make this room more attractive?
Yeah.
Well, the management not treating the room right, because the room needs paint. The walls need better insulation so that the ambient sound quality can improve. The carpeting isn't the best and the lighting isn't good. And even before them, the previous owners never invested in the facility. And so that is where we have a problem now. But what I will say is that if I am paid more, I can make the room look good. Thank you. What the hell? That's the form of the response. You ask a direct question. You go around the bush 16 times and tell us what is wrong institutionally. Yeah, and the legacy issue. And then tell me now that I must pay you more and thank you very much. And that is the answer to the question. No, you haven't told me that what I will do. What I will do is I will seek some investment so I can, over time, because I don't suspect I'll get all the investment once. And I'll deal with the walls first. Because you see, if we do the walls in a different color, it will allow the lighting in the room to be more dynamic. After I deal with the walls, I will move to the ceiling and the padding on the ceiling, because there is a new brand of padding that is being used in the modern radio studios that are now around, where even with substandard audio equipment, and I'm not saying that the audio equipment is substandard, but even with substandard audio equipment, the sound quality will be better because the sound bounces around the room in a uniform manner. So I'll deal with the walls and I'll deal with the padding on the walls. Then where the lighting is concerned, I will change the lights here. So right now we have 2 lights in the ceiling. I would uninstall those and make it 4 lights. But what I'll do it in a perimeter setting. So rather than have 2 lights at the top, I'll put... No, you answer the question now. What will you do?
Yes. And even if it is that they were going to speak to the authorities, I was expecting it to be in a form that indicates partnership, not a form that says, okay, let me blame you. And I have no part in it. I didn't do anything wrong. It's all of those people. Yeah, that's not the response you give, because you are on the floor of the classroom where the matter of literacy is presented before you. So what are you doing? How are you contributing to addressing the issue?
And look, this may not be a popular opinion, but so be it. I refuse to accept that any senior teacher should not have command of the English language. I'm sorry. I know that people have different talents in many areas, and not everybody is articulate and is gifted where speaking the language is concerned. But when you are a teacher of a certain standard, you should have command of the English language, and I'll never relinquish that. I'm sorry. So yeah. So once you're not connecting with me on that, I'm not listening.
Yeah. But listen, George. Fixing or helping to resolve this literacy issue is a partnership strategy. Ministry of Education cannot do it alone. You need all the teachers on board and you need the parents on board. Yeah, if it is that you're going to have the school administrators saying, listen, we're going to do more to find absent parents, bring them to even the classroom, see how your kids are performing here, Excellent. Get them involved in the process even more. We're going to engage our school alumni, see how they can come in to even give us more resources, perhaps where the Ministry of Education cannot give us the bulk, but a portion, and then the school alumni is bringing in another portion of that to see how we can fix the problem. But it cannot be that you are the educator, you're in the classroom seeing it, and you have a role to play, but still you point fingers at everybody else except yourself. I don't accept that at all.
Yeah, unacceptable. And you see, we have been nurtured to expect our teachers to be of the highest caliber. Yes? And it is difficult to expect us to relinquish that expectation. No, we don't parse standards for teachers. The highest, we expect the best.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if you're going up for the top job, you should be able to answer a question. I'm sorry. You should be able to answer a question directly. And those of you camp followers, yes, you know, some are with this candidate, the other candidate. You must tell them the truth. Yeah, and you must prepare your candidate for a forum such as a debate. Go through them and say, listen, when you are asked a direct question, practice giving a direct answer. Even as you say, Tana, you point out the shortcomings and the systemic issues that can't take up the bulk of the time you're using to respond.
Yeah.
The bulk of the time is supposed to be what I am doing. You want to know what I am doing? I would do this 1, 2, 3. And some people shy away from that because they believe that because they don't have anything revolutionary to say. No, I know everything needs a revolutionary solution.
It shows that you're willing to help something that's broken.
Exactly.
That's what it indicates. Yes. I will help. I'm not putting up my hands and blaming everybody else while the problem is still there festering. I will contribute to fixing the problem.
Yes.
That's what's important.
And there was one answer I heard, which I could summarize the answer to say, if you pay teachers, the system will be fixed. What nonsense is that? How does that compute? How does that work? And then in another answer, the same candidate listed several systemic issues that cause the problem to metamorphose, to spread. And yet you're saying that in light of all of those challenges, all you have to do is pay us more and those systemic challenges will be erased just by greater effort. Rubbish. And so, JTA, come the man. And even so, the people who have stepped forward, there must be more that you're not giving. You know, maybe, you know, let's not write them off, Tom. Let's say they had a bad day collectively. Because what I heard, not impressive. Not impressive.
Yeah.
Give me a break today, man.
Apply for your NHD refunds at nhd.gov.jm or via the NHD app. Do not click on any links offering to help you. The time by the NHD is
8:22.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Data Protection Matters is brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
What if the biggest privacy risk in your organization isn't the breach, but the data you're holding onto for no good reason? What if your own systems are storing information that serves no purpose, just waiting to become a headline? This is Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy, and I'm your host, Chukwuemeka Cameron. Today's episode is called A Simple Framework for Necessity and Proportionality in Data Processing. But before we dive in, it's time for our weekly insight from the Global Privacy Desk. Here's Priya with this week's hot take.
Is your cookie consent banner a legal trap? Learn from this German court ruling. Think your website's cookie consent banner is compliant? Think again. A recent decision by the Administrative Court Hanover reveals pitfalls you might face. A German newspaper publisher was caught using a deceptive cookie consent banner, violating GDPR rules on informed consent. This ruling highlights a crucial misstep, failing to secure clear user consent. On the first access, users' data was sent to Google's servers without transparent options to deny consent. The court focused on GDPR Articles 4 and 7, emphasizing genuine user control and transparency. The decision? The publisher must overhaul their consent process within a month. So, what's the takeaway for you as a data protection officer? Ensure your consent mechanisms are both clear and voluntary, It's time to audit your cookie banners. Ensuring refusal is just as straightforward as consent. Like this insight? Hit subscribe for more real-world GDPR lessons. Protect your users and shield your organization from legal pitfalls. Stay tuned to master compliance and keep your company secure.
Thanks, Priya. If you want more of Priya's hot takes, head over to the Design Privacy YouTube channel, where new hot takes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Back to today's show. When handling personal data, one critical question arises. Is this processing truly necessary and proportional to the purpose? This issue is a fundamental part of your data protection impact assessment. Organizations often struggle with 1. Collecting more data than required, which leads to unnecessary risks and complicates compliance. 2. Unclear boundaries that make it difficult to determine what data is essential versus what is excessive. 3. The inability to justify why certain data is being processed any at all, which opens the door to regulatory penalties and reputational harm. Sound familiar? Evaluating necessity and proportionality isn't just about ticking a compliance box. It's about building trust and operational efficiency. It also plays a crucial role in reducing the harm that can result when a breach occurs. Now, imagine your organization running on a data strategy that's lean, lawful, and well-defined. A strategy where every piece of data collected has a clearly articulated purpose. Evaluating necessity and proportionality helps you. 1. Minimize the risk of data breaches and misuses by ensuring your systems are not overloaded with unnecessary information. 2. Improve your transparency efforts, giving both regulators and stakeholders confidence in your practices. 3. Eliminate the overhead that comes from collecting and storing unnecessary data, making your operations more efficient and focused. This isn't just about regulatory checklists. This is smart, strategic governance and a critical part of digital transformation. Let's consider a real-world scenario. The British and Foreign Bible Society experienced a serious data breach. Sensitive supporter information, including bank details, was exposed because of weak access controls and the unnecessary retention of data. This wasn't just a technical slip-up. It was a systemic failure to evaluate what data was truly necessary to retain and for how long. Had they applied the principles of data minimization, role-based access, and clear retention policies, the damages could have been greatly mitigated. The breach wasn't a one-off mistake. It was a result of deeply embedded missteps. Sensitive data was retained far longer than it was needed. Access controls were either weak or non-existent, allowing too many people to access too much information. Data management policies were not aligned with privacy standards. Stakeholders could not justify the reasons for collecting specific data. Processing activities weren't tied to clear mission-driven processes. In response, the organization didn't just patch the holes. They rebuilt their data management framework from the ground up. They conducted a full audit of the personal data they collected, mapping each item to a specific and justified business need. Access to sensitive data was encrypted and restricted based on job roles, significantly lowering exposure risk. Retention policies were overhauled to ensure data was only kept for as long as necessary. Updated privacy notices were rolled out, and employees received targeted training to embed a culture of privacy across the organization. And that's why we are hosting our next webinar, Data Protection Impact Assessment Made Easy, on June 26 at 3:30 p.m. If you're grappling with these same questions in your own organization, this session will give you the tools and clarity to move forward. Plus, when you register, you'll receive our necessity and proportionality template absolutely free. Now let's look at the framework. Catalog all personal data your organization collects. For each data item, document its associated privacy risks. 2. Establish purpose and legal basis. Ensure that every data item has a clearly defined purpose. Align the purpose with a lawful basis for processing, like contractual necessity or legal obligation. Step 3, assess proportionality. Ask, is this data essential to fulfill the stated purpose, or is it merely convenient? If the answer leans towards convenience, reassess your approach. Proportionality demands that the least intrusive method is chosen to achieve the objective. 4, introduce safeguards like access controls, data minimization. Step 5, make necessity and proportionality an ongoing process. Document each step, log changes, and revisit the analysis as business processes evolve or as laws change. Let's bust a myth. Necessity and proportionality only apply to sensitive or high-risk data. The reality, these principles apply to all data. If you're collecting it, you should be able to justify why and demonstrate that it's being handled appropriately. More organizations are integrating these evaluations into automated workflows using privacy tools. This approach improves both efficiency and compliance. To recap, many organizations are collecting more data than needed, struggling to justify their processing and facing increased regulatory and operational risks. By evaluating necessity and proportionality, you can reduce risk, demonstrate accountability, and streamline operations. The framework: identify the data, align with lawful purposes, and apply appropriate safeguards. This mindset doesn't just prepare you for audit, it transforms how your organization thinks about data. If you are ready to improve your data processing practices, download our DPI template, which includes a built-in necessity and proportionality test. To download this template, go to our website at www.designprivacy.io. That's DESIGNPRIVACY.io. And don't forget to register for our next live session. DPIA Made Easy, June 26, 3:30 p.m. Let's build smarter, safer data environment, one process at a time.
Data Protection Matters was brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
The time by Grace Good Move is
8:32.
For over 30 years, Chris and Charles has been financing your goals, dreams, creating your great moments. Celebrate the occasion with us. Borrow $1 million, pay less than $25,000 monthly, and get 30% off your processing fees. No guarantor needed. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Haughton's RX, the caring pharmacy. The Yes We Can pharmacy. The Yes It's in stock pharmacy. The house call delivery pharmacy. The RX Pack mobile app pharmacy. The RX Plus digital wallet pharmacy. The 20% reward pharmacy. The easy to remember number pharmacy. 876-RX0RXRX. The easy access 24/7 pharmacy. Haughton's RX, the convenient pharmacy. #wellness, #simply delivered.
A healthier you is brought to you by Express Fitness. Your goal or mission, Haughton's Pharmacy, a family tradition of dispensing and caring for 100 years.
And Pharma Cold and Flu, distributed by Massey Distribution.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. In a move to tackle the rising epidemic of non-communicable diseases among Jamaicans, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be launching its Jamaica Moves Corporate Wellness Challenge. The Corporate Wellness Challenge 2025 recognizes the vital role that workplaces play in promoting healthy lifestyles and preventing NCDs. For more on the challenge, I'm being joined by Senior Health Education Officer in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Chad Morgan. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning to you, sir, and good morning to your listeners.
Excellent, man. Good to have you here. So, what is this Corporate Wellness Challenge about? When is it scheduled for?
So, the Corporate Wellness Challenge is a 8-month-long workplace wellness competition that's led by the Ministry of Health and Wellness under the Jamaica Moves in Workplaces program. So it starts in July of this year and it runs up until February of next year. So it really looks at engaging workplaces and the team members in physical activity, health screening, and getting people to eat healthy as well. We also want persons engaging health education sessions where they're able to learn more about controlling and managing their health.
Mm-hmm. And your target audience?
So we're targeting workplaces across Jamaica. So companies, any company pretty much with 10 or more employees are able to participate in this competition.
Yeah. What are some of the activities that will be involved?
So our activity, we have a range of activities. So we look at physical activities, things like road runs, nature hikes. We have office workout series, park runs. We also have things for our nutrition challenge where we'll have healthy recipe competition and a cook-off. We'll have our health education quiz, and we want people to know their numbers. So we'll also be doing health screenings as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. For the companies set to participate, what do they get from it in terms of benefit? How will you reward them? How will they be recognized, if at all?
So, absolutely, they will be recognized. So there will be millions of dollars in prizes for the winning companies, but there will also be bragging rights to know that your company is the Corporate Wellness Challenge or the Corporate Wellness Challenge champion of 2025. We'll also be hosting a award ceremony at the end of the competition to award these companies who would have come up in the top for the competition.
Mm-hmm. Someone listening to you who just caught the back end of your answer will be saying, okay, so my company can win millions of dollars. Well, what's the benefit for me, the employee? What's the real benefit for me?
So outside of the prizes that will be company-wide, when companies or employees participate in workplace wellness programs, we know that the data says that they are better employees, they are more productive. The team members also feel more engaged, they feel like a part of the company, so they're more energized. So if there's increased productivity, there's a healthier workplace, and people feel more alike and more a part of the company, so it increases camaraderie, and people are happier and better able to go to work and do their work in a better environment.
Mm-hmm. People who never used to really talk to each other because they didn't have to have that chance, eh?
Exactly, absolutely.
Yeah. So the country's the national health goals, how would you say this Corporate Wellness Challenge align, if at all, with the national health goals that the country has?
So it does. There are several things that it aligns with. So our Vision for Health 2030 is one of the key strategies that the competition aligns with, and it also aligns with our National Health Promotion Strategic Plan by promoting prevention through lifestyle changes. So where we want people to make healthier choices around the things that they eat, to reduce their sedentary lifestyle, so to get moving, which is why we push for physical activity. And we want people to do their annual age-appropriate health checks, because if we're able to identify non-communicable diseases early, then we can treat or prevent them from becoming a problem to the person involved.
With more information available than ever before, Chad, about NCDs and more treatment options available than ever before, are more people getting treatment for NCDs? Are more people knowing their numbers and acting accordingly?
Oh, absolutely. More people are getting to know their numbers, especially with our Know Your Numbers campaign going across the island. So we have thousands of people getting screened every week when we go into the communities and now the workplaces. So more people are becoming aware of the modifiable risk factors that lead to non-communicable diseases, and they are also taking the steps to reducing those. Even so, though, we still have 80% of deaths in Jamaica linked to non-communicable diseases, which is why it's important for us to have these kind of competitions and activities so people can become more aware and then they're empowered to also act. And that's important for the workplaces as well. So we need the workplaces to be that space of wellness. So people who want to be healthy, they have the resources, they have the space to be healthy at work.
Yes, indeed. Okay, remind me of when and where this official launch of the Corporate Wellness Challenge 2025 will take place.
So we kick off the competition on Thursday of this week. It will be declared open on social media, across social media. The minister will declare the competition open. So once we go through on Thursday, then persons will be able to register to be a part of the competition. And the first competition goes live on the 2nd of July.
Mm-hmm. And how can companies register to participate?
So our registration will be on the Ministry of Health website at moh.gov.jm, Or person can also send us an email at workplace.wellness@moh.gov.ja.
Yeah, and tell him not to be put off by the fact of the title saying corporate, because you say, well, I'm not corporate. If you have how many employees, 10 or more?
10 or more employees, you're able to participate in the competition across Jamaica. So whether it's private sector, government, you're able to participate.
Excellent. Well, we hope that you get a flood of applications, Chad, and that your subscription exceeds your expectations and your projections.
Thank you so much. We are looking forward to seeing the Jamaican people participating in this competition.
Senior Health Education Officer at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Chad Morgan. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right. Corporate Wellness Challenge 2025. The Ministry of Health launching its Jamaica Moves Corporate Wellness Challenge, raising awareness about NCDs and encouraging Jamaicans to do things to prevent the onset of NCDs. More after these.
A Healthier You was brought to you by Express Fitness. Your goal or mission. Horton's Pharmacy, a family tradition of dispensing and caring for 100 years.
And Pharma Cold and Flu, distributed by Massey Distribution.
Join Cliff Hughes online on Tuesday, June 17, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. live from the Jamaica Conference Center, Port Royal Street, downtown Kingston. The employment of over 10,000 youth in a bid to enhance the services offered by the local government sector will be the prime focus of the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development's Youth Summer Employment Program, YSEP. Hear highlights on the benefits, purpose, and structure of YSEP from special guest speaker, Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, and Portfolio Minister the Honorable Desmond McKenzie. That's a live broadcast of Cliff Hughes Online, Tuesday, June 17, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. live from the Jamaica Conference Center, Port Royal Street, downtown Kingston. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM on Tuesday, June 17 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the live sectoral presentation by the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett. Also, you can view the presentation on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. So tune in to Nationwide 90 FM on Tuesday, June 17 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's the live sectoral presentation by the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King. Stretch your dollar at Burger King with a new Double King combo. 1 original chicken sandwich plus a Whopper Junior with cheese. Plus a small fries and drink for only $1,300.
Guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let it go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, they may never find what they dream of. What you won't do to do for love. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with Well, I'm in the days from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. I only want the best, it's true. I can't believe the things I do for you. What you won't do for love. You've tried everything, but you won't give up. In my world, only you made me do for love what I would not do. Made me do for love what I would not do.
That time of the morning when we tell some very special people happy birthday and happy anniversary. Happy birthday greetings going out to retired Superintendent Ione Ramsey Nelson. Happy birthday to you, coming from your husband, family, and your friends. Wishing her many, many more happy years with us and lots of love. Happy birthday to you, retired Superintendent Ione Ramsey Nelson.
Top lady, top lady.
Yeah,
and a friend of Nationwide. Very good friend.
She is a friend of Nationwide. Good morning
Nationwide.
to you. I remember when my mom told me when I was very little that she was the first woman in the police force to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was like, that's so cool. So happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a wonderful day. Who else is celebrating a birthday today? If you are celebrating your birthday, if it is your anniversary, do come on over to our YouTube channel, drop that in the chat so we can wish them a special one. Over on Facebook, happy birthday greetings to Sue Longtime. Happy birthday as well to Tamisha Bailey, Sasha Harrison, Fluffy Doll Stewart. Happy birthday to you. It's also the birthday of Cadian Chelsea Sr., Tamara Benlos, Nicholas Levy, James Evans, Eileen Hall Black. Happy birthday to you, Eileen. Wishing for you a wonderful day as well. Scrolling on down, checking the YouTube chat for those who are celebrating their birthdays. Not seeing any so far. So for now, those are the birthdays. Happy birthday to you if it's your birthday. If you're celebrating your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King. Stretch your dollar at Burger King with a new Double King combo. 1 original chicken sandwich plus a Whopper Jr. with cheese. Plus a small fries and drink for only $1,300.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way.
All right. Should we turn up the beat?
We should.
Let's turn up the beat. This morning. Turn it up, Damian. Turn it up.
been hit by a smooth criminal. See the camera to the outrage. It was Sunday, what a black day. But the marriage hesitation, sounding heartbeats, intimidations. Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Are you okay? Will you tell us that you're okay? In the sound of the phone, are you sure? They told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear. The fire's in their eyes and their words are really clear. So beat it, just beat it. You better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can. So beat it, but you wanna be bad, just beat it, beat it, beat it. There's no one wants to beat it, beat it. Sure, I'm funky, don't just fight. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. Just beat it, beat it, just beat it, beat it. Just beat it, just beat it, beat it. There I suggest you better leave while you can. Don't wanna be a boy, you wanna be a man. You wanna stay alive, better do what you can. So beat it, just beat it. You have to show them that you're really not scared. You're playing with your life, this ain't no truth or dare. They'll kick you, then they beat you, they'll tell you it's fair. So beat it, but you wanna be bad, just beat it, beat it, beat it. There's no one wants to beat it, beat it. Sure, when I'm funky, don't just fight. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. Just beat it, beat it, beat it. There's no one wants to beat it, beat it. Sure, when I'm funky, don't just fight. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. Just beat it, beat it.
Yeah. No, wake up, man. Wake up and go walk.
MJ was sure put you in that mood.
Man. Yes, man. Yes, man. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Jolly good, mate. Jolly good.
Indeed. Before we go, Patricia Richardson. I did not forget you. Happy birthday, Patricia says, going out to her sister, Faye Richardson in Atlanta, celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Faye. Your sister is saying to you, have a wonderful and a blessed day. Happy birthday to Faye Richardson from Patricia Richardson. You gonna find another MJ to take us out? Another MJ?
I did that because guess what? The Reggae Boys last night, I watched all of the game. Mighty God of Daniel. Lifeless, man. Lifeless. Disjointed. And I just certainly hope that the second game is much better because, boy, man, you know.
Yeah, we don't want to say beat it, Reggae Boys.
Yeah, understand.
So
sure.
get it together.
Come on.
Get
Can
it
do much
together.
better than that, man. Much better than that.
But that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, The Big Show. Thanks so much to our technical operator this morning, Damon Cunningham. Thanks as well to our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith, and our super editor, Kimon Thompson. Up next, The Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana.
So here, Kirk Buchanan in the chat said, whatever you do, George Davis, don't bang your head on the wall. Kirk, Minnesota.
Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Imagine waking up one day facing the decision to part ways with a leg or an arm due to complications caused by illnesses